Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining today. My name is Matthew Wright, and I'm the Automation Product Manager for OneSource Distributors, covering controllers, I/O, and software, covering the Orange County territory. Also, Sergio Luna, he is our Automation Product Manager covering San Diego. Thanks for joining. Today, we're going to be talking about Rockwell Automation Safety Controllers and I/O. Just a couple quick notes. We're going to have your mics muted during the presentation, and if time permits, at the end we will open them up for any questions. Also, feel free to put in any questions into the chat, and if we have time, we'll go through that. I'm not sure if I've got anybody supporting me today. We may possibly have to respond to questions via email after the presentation. So let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, let's talk about the safety life cycle and how to manage it. So typically, we start with a risk or hazard assessment, for a piece of machinery. Basically this assessment is done going through all the different operations that this machine can do in different scenarios to identify any risk or hazards. And then the next step is you go into the functional requirements. So you identify those hazards and start the remediation process of figuring out how to overcome these hazards and how to work through them. And then next step on 3 is you go into the design verification. So you start designing a system with the correct safety components based on your risk assessment. And then you go into the installation and validation stage. So, you put all your devices together, your controller, your programming, and do the testing and validation. And once that's completed, then it's just the maintain and improve portion of the life cycle. So, if there's any issues after the fact or new hazards that come up from maybe possible machine upgrades, then that's part of the maintenance portion of the safety life cycle. The other thing I want to note is that Rockwell's got some tools available to help on these safety applications. We got the safety life cycle toolkit and the safety automation builder. It's all part of our selection toolkit, and at the end of this presentation I've got links to be able to download these. So the tool selection is a suite of a lot of different tools, including integrated architecture builder, if you're not familiar with that, CrossWorks, ProposalWorks. There's a whole selection of tools to help you develop systems. And then second is our Machinery SafeBook 5. So if you are new to safety, this is a great document to start with. This goes over different standards, risk assessments, all stages of the safety life cycle. Actually gives some application examples that on certain processes, and shows you what's required as far as equipment, wiring, programming. It's a very useful guide. There's also a link provided at the end of this presentation to download that document. So also I wanted to mention in our literature library, if you go in there in rockwellautomation.com, and in the literature library, if you type in safety, your search results will come up with multiple safety application techniques. I mean, hundreds of them. It's a very exhaustive list. So if you have a specific safety application, let's say you're integrating a light curtain with a drive, say torque off, there will be you can search through this and find the correct application technique. It's a very good document. This is an example of one for safely limited speed safety function. It goes over different pieces of hardware. You've got CAD drawings, E-plan, Sistema, wiring files. There's just a whole plethora of information for this specific application. So Second, let's go over this is a mid-range safety portfolio that Rockwell offers. So this is kind of a mid-range, medium-size portfolio, starting with the compact GuardLogix 5380. This is our latest compact GuardLogic controller, and programs in Studio 5000 environment. And then below that, this is where our IO and our different safety devices that can be linked directly through Ethernet. So starting with point IO, because we have guard point IO, digital inputs, digital outputs, and even analog safety cards. And you can mix and match the guard safety IO with the standard safety IO. Then we have our PowerFlex 527 drive that has SIP safety over Ethernet for your safe torque off. It's the only drive that we have that has built-in safe torque off over Ethernet. Then we've got our 440C CR30 programmable safety relay. This is like a PLC. It's a safety controller that uses Connected Components Workbench software to set up your safety routine. This is good if you have multiple safety devices where you don't want to use traditional safety relays. We've got our Armor Block Guard IO that works over Ethernet to bring in safety devices as far as outputs for contactors, safety contactors, inputs for e-stops, guard latch, all different types of safety devices. And then we've got our Compact 5000 safety IO that you can do remotely over Ethernet or locally in the controller. We have a Kinetix 5000 family of servo drives that have SIP safety over Ethernet, so it reduces wiring. We got the Safe Zone scanner, and then we just showed our PanelView Plus 7s on the network. The multifunctional access box with SIP safety over Ethernet for gating guard access, and then light curtains. And you can see some of the other devices that this is on the third level is our device level, right? So light curtains, guard locking switch, RFDI locking switch, mobile view, safety contactors, e-stops, a whole plethora of devices. So, and this is just letting you know that, with our new compact GuardLogix, it's a very low entry-level cost. This is our entry-level safety controller, the L306ER S2. The list price is $1,400, so you don't need to spend a lot of money to get GuardLogix. So it's a scalable safety level. So this is one of our older compact GuardLogix controllers, the like an L43, L45. So you can see the footprint on this. So you've got the power supply, you've got the safety controller, you've got an Ethernet module, you've got your IO. Now, if you look at the new 5380, you've got the power supply built in, or actually it's not built in, but it's connectable. You can use it remotely. You can use any type of power supply. Ethernet's already built in. It's a much smaller footprint besides the increased functionality. So let's talk about scalable safety levels. So the 5380 GuardLogic controllers you can get in a SIL 2 and a SIL 3. And you can see the difference. Our SIL 2 controller, there's not a safety partner. So it doesn't have the redundant processing. So this meets SIL 2 requirements. And then we also have the controllers that are SIL 3 rated, which actually include a safety partner. You'll see that off to the right, which is adds redundancy to the processor. So compact GuardLogix 5380 are high performance, much faster than the 5370s and the L45 safety GuardLogic controllers. So what that means is that it's reduced distance between like light curtains and hazardous equipment. So you can reduce that distance because of the higher reaction time. So means faster safety reaction time, the CRT, safe distance reduction from the light curtain plane to of light to the closest hazard or danger point where the operator could reach the hazard. So this actually helps reduce possibly the footprint of your machine and your equipment. So here's a competitive comparison with Rockwell on our safety input modules on the Compact 5000. Our reaction time is 6 milliseconds compared to Siemens, which is 20 with the ET200SP and 10 with the ET200MP, and then 4 milliseconds with the Beckhoff. But these are 8-channel units. So that could be 4 input devices with the dual channel inputs. And then on our outputs, our reaction time is 4.5 milliseconds. And also, I didn't mention on our inputs, it's also the same with our outputs, that we have actually more diagnostics than our competitors. We've got short circuit, no load, open wire, overload, over critical temperature, field power off, dual channel fault. So we have lots of diagnostics with our safety input and output modules. So here's a picture of our Compact 5000 safety IO. So like I said earlier, these can be local to the controller or they can be remote using an Ethernet bridge module. Better diagnostics, quicker response time, as I mentioned before. So here's kind of the anatomy of these controllers. So you've got the power status indicators. You got your IO status indicators on the right for each channel. And then they have removable terminal blocks. So if you're not familiar with our Compact IO, there are 2 flavors for terminal blocks. You can either have screw type or spring type. Very compact, you know, reduces panel space and decreases wiring time. So next, let's talk about the GuardLogix, the 5380 compact controller with the 5580. So you can see here on this table, the 5580 GuardLogix controller can be a SIL2 controller, just the way it shows here. And then with a safety partner, then we move to a SIL3. So it works just like the Compact GuardLogix controller. You can get it with the safety partner or without, depending on what SIL level you're required to meet. So here's some compatible IO densities. So these are some of our safety IO options. So at the top, this is our Compact 5000 safety IO. Below is our Guard Point IO. This is usually very popular, and a lot of people use the Point Guard IO before our Compact 5000's Guard IO came out. And then also we have the ControlLogix, the 1756 Guard IO available if you're using a 5580 GuardLogix controller. And then we also have our new Flex 5000 Guard IO for high density IO. This works really good for remote IO. And so on our 1756 IO, these are the 2 options that we have. So we have a 16-channel input module, the IB16S, and then an 8-channel safety output module, OBB8S. And these are the compatible terminal blocks for the IO that are the red color to indicate safety. So ControlLogix SIP Safety IO modules overview. So the new chassis base are local, can also be used in distributed IO using a bridge or routing module. Enhanced reaction time compared to the older Point Guard IO modules. Flexible, any ControlLogix Safety IO module can be used in combination with all other standard ControlLogix IO modules used with Compact GuardLogix 5380 or with GuardLogix 5380 controllers as remote IO, safety rated up to SIL 3, and then basically just more of the information that I had stated previously. Here's some examples of field terminations. So with the input modules, this shows the 2-wire connections. And then on the output, it has the option of being a sourcing mode or bipolar mode. So this diagram kind of shows you the difference between bipolar, which you have 2 wires coming from the module directly to your contactors or output device, as opposed to the sourcing module where you have to bring the DC common, to your contactors, and then it's just a basic 1-wire output to the safety device. So in our 1756 safe IO, this shows you some of the status indicators. So these are multi or bicolor LED indicators that can be either green or red. Kind of the same as the compact IO. You can actually see the status of each channel, see if the module is okay or faulted. It's got very good visual indications. So how do we select a safety level with a GuardLogic controller? So like I had stated from the beginning, in a safety application, best practices is having a risk assessment, determining where the hazards are, and also determining the safety level required for that device. Because I just want to point out that finding the correct safety level is paramount. A lot of people will say, let's just go with the highest level that will cover everything, right? But the requirements to meet like a category 4 safety level are pretty stringent, very expensive. So you want to be able to choose the correct level for the application, and that's where the risk assessment comes in. A lot of people don't realize the value of a risk assessment. So anyways, once you determine what your safety category level you need to achieve, then you can come into the controller, under the controller properties, under the safety tab is where you can set your safety level, whether it's SIL 2 or SIL 3. And in the controller, if you're not aware, with GuardLogix, all of your safety happens through a single safety task. It's not part of your standard logic routines. It runs separately. It has its own memory. So in the GuardLogic controllers, there's an amount of memory dedicated for standard logic and then for safety logic. There's other requirements for safety. And at the end of this presentation, I put some links to some documents, some user manuals for the 5580 controller and the 5380 controller, or compact 5380 controller. That's got very good useful information, as with the safety reference manual that goes over all the safety instructions used with GuardLogix. So replacement guidelines. So if you are replacing an older compact GuardLogix like a 5370 to a 5380 controller, we have this replacement guidelines document, because there are some requirements when you're doing a replacement. According to the IEC 51508 Part 1, Section 7.18, an impact analysis shall be carried out that shall include an assessment of the impact of the proposed modification or retrofit activity on the functional safety of any EEPE safety-related system. So this is a really good guide if you are replacing a 5370 controller to a 5380. So high performance. So the compact GuardLogix the 5380, this is kind of a comparison to the 5370. So you can see overall performance is 5 to 20 times. Here's our safety memory, much larger or wider range from 0.3 to 5 megabytes, up to 32 axes per controller with the 5380. Then access per millisecond, 32. You can see some of the different, the comparison and how higher performance the 5380 is over the 5370, especially with our Ethernet. You know, we're doing 100 to 1,000 megabits per second. So this is a very good comparison. And you can see these are some of the catalog numbers for the 5380 controllers. And you'll see that the S2 is at the end of the catalog number. That dictates it's a GuardLogix and it's SIL2 rated. It's not shown on this list, but we also have S3 controllers that are SIL3 rated. So increased safety integration. So integrated safety functions. So this is the reference manual that I've included into the resources at the end of this presentation. Goes over all of these integrated safety functions. So these are safety instructions that are designed for specific applications. Like this SLS instruction is our safe limited speed for drives. So a lot of the programming is already simplified for you with these instructions. It makes it very simple to start putting a safety system together. So new capabilities. So as of recently, these are some of the new capabilities that are available on the 5380 and the GuardLogix 5580 controllers. These aren't available through the older systems like the 5570 GuardLogix or the 5370. So we've got the SFX instruction, which is safe feedback scaling, SS1, safe stop 1, SS2, safe stop 2, SOS, safe operating stop. And you can see all the different safe direction, safe brake control. These instructions were not available on the older GuardLogix and compact GuardLogix controllers. So I just want to talk a little bit. This is in regards to drives. If you're not familiar, we have the 2750 S4 integrated safety function option module for the PowerFlex 750 series drives. So these were some of the offerings that we had prior. We still have. So we have the 2750S, which is just our hardwired safe torque off option card. And then we have the 2750S1 is the safe speed monitor hardwired option card. And then we came out with a 2750S3. So this is our integrated SIP safety safe torque off over Ethernet. So this option card allows you to do safe torque off over Ethernet. So it reduces wiring to safe input modules or to a safety relay. This is all done over Ethernet. So the connection to your drive, your Ethernet connection that is there to control your drive, is the same connection to do your safe torque off through the GuardLogix system. And then we brought in the 2750S4, which is a functional safety card that has multiple safety functions, and I'm going to show you here. So this is what the card looks like. It's red in color. It goes into the 755 or 755 drives, and these are the functions that card offers. Now this card has to work with a 5580 GuardLogix controller or the 5380 compact only. This does not work with the older safety controllers. So on the drive-based safety functions, it has safe torque off and safe stop 1, so category 1 stop. Then it also includes all the other functions that we saw, safe stop 1, safety feedback interface, safe brake control, safely limited speed, safe direction, safely limited position, safe stop to, and safe operational stop. So this is a multifunctional safety card for our PowerFlex 755 drives. And then as far as new distributed IO that has guard IO is our Flex 5000. So if you're used to our Flex IO, this is the new version, the Flex 5000. It's been updated. It's got higher Ethernet performance. It's also available with fiber, the adapters with 2 fiber ports, so it supports our DLR. This is for high density IO. You can see we've got 16 channels of digital in or out and 4 channels of analog in or out. We also have this in a XT, an extreme environment version. It goes from negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit to 158 degrees Fahrenheit. So in those applications that require extreme temperature ratings, this is definitely the IO that you would use. So here's an example of some of the adapters. Like I said previously, we've got gigabit Ethernet with DLR that supports linear and PRP, parallel redundant protocol. We also have them available with fiber in the SPF adapter. And then also we have that available in the extreme version. So this is just more of an overview of the different options. They actually have a safe relay output option. So we've got a lot of different safety options with the new Flex 5000, including analog and relay output. So here's just a quick overview, SIL ratings, response time. So on the inputs, on our 16 digital input, we've got a 6 millisecond safe reaction time. Meets category or SIL 3 category 4 with a dual single channel. Then our digital outputs, same thing. It's got a 4.5 millisecond reaction time. Meets SIL 3 category 4 PLE, and same with our relay output module. So this is just I'm going to kind of skip through these because we're running out of time. But here is the technical resources that I've provided for you. Our product selection toolbox that includes the safety builder, IAB, proposal works. If you don't use any of these, I would look into it. There's some great videos on using integrated architecture builder, and then the machine safe book 5. And then our user manuals for the controllers and the reference manual for the GuardLogix instructions. So at that point, I think we're kind of at the end of this presentation. I'll ask Shelly to go ahead and open it up if anybody has any questions. Nope, doesn't look. Shelly.
Also, Matt, there weren't any questions in the Q&A chat. So.
Okay. Do we still have some attendees? Are the mics
yeah,
open?
I think we still have 3 people on.
Okay. Yeah, if anybody had any questions, I don't know, Shelly, were you able to open their mics up?
Oh, if you guys have questions,
yeah, you may have to unmute your mic if you can.
Yeah. If not, if you can't unmute, please put your question in the Q&A chat. At the bottom of the screen's a chat bubble, or button, you can click that and then post your question in there.
Okay.
All right, doesn't look like there's any questions.
No. Yeah, well, I want to thank everybody for attending, and if you can, please fill out the survey at the end. We would appreciate that. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate you attending.
Good job, man.
Thanks, Adrian. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing here. All right. Cool.
Actually, you know what, Matt? Now that I've opened it up, it looked like William Pena had one question that said the previous slide with the links. I don't know what that meant. Like I couldn't see the question. It was behind.
Oh,
It's weird the way that it poses it, but it says the previous slide with the links. You might want to email him or call him.
yeah. You know what? I should have said that we were going to send this presentation out.
Yeah, that's okay.
I will email him. I'll email
Okay.
him with the links. Okay.
Yep. All right.
Because I think he dropped off. Yeah, that's why he was
did.
hanging on there. But I'll get that to him definitely.
Yeah, and then I did see Mauricio Cotto said that there were no questions, so it looked like I don't know what William was saying, but just said the previous slide.
Yeah, I think he wanted me to keep the slide up so he could see the links, maybe thinking that we wouldn't send it out to him. I'm thinking that's what it was.
Okay.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thanks, Adrian.
Yep. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Yep.
Bye,
Thanks,
Shelly.
Shelley.
Thank you. I don't think she must be busy doing something.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye.
You too. Bye.